This morning, we're talking about one of the GOATs in sports and so much that we can learn, Tom Brady. And in particular, I pulled 5 principles from one of these really good interviews that I watched recently. So I boiled it down for you guys, made it very easy, digestible steps that we can do to become the greatest versions of ourselves. Enjoy the morning show. Cheers. Financially free and enjoy more of what the world has to offer in this action one, because this is where most human beings screw the pooch. So a little one-person trampoline, very I screen shared it. Like, there's no excuse. Like, phone numbers are just out there. You just got to pick up the phone, smile, and dial. So good morning, and welcome back to another episode of the Talk Terror Morning Show, where we go over tips, tricks, ideas, and exercises to help make you the absolute best version of yourself, not only for yourself, but the people you love and care about most. Today, we are talking about Tom Brady. And in particular, we're going to be going over 5 principles. Let's get that right underneath here. We want these 5 principles. 5 principles that we can live by in order to improve ourselves, improve our situations, improve our lives. That's what we're all about this morning, is taking the momentum of the morning and rolling it into having a really badass day. So let's get going right away with these. So we got some banners going. How's everyone doing this morning? So these are the top lessons from Tom Brady that I pulled. It's been actually really cool to see him more in the light, like talking and doing interviews. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more to come. But for so long, it seemed like he was in the dark, just like so focused on football, and their team never wanted to give things away. And part of that work ethic is what we're going to talk about this morning. But first off, we're going to be talking about leadership a little bit. So leadership. And I want to emphasize this word about caring. I thought this was really cool, and also culture. So caring creates culture. So caring equals culture. So caring. So it was really cool to see that to be a really good leader, you do have to care about your teammates. You do have to care about the process. You do have to care. This includes not only people, but it also included the process. The mission. So when it came to leadership for Tom, it was really cool to see that his definition of leadership was caring so much and having true love for the people around him, for himself, his teammates, and then this, and not only caring about the people, but also caring about the mission. So how we can apply this own principle, if we want to be good leaders, not only do we have to care about the people that it involves, including ourselves, but also caring about a mission greater than ourselves, a mission, a goal to accomplish, I think is another way to think about it. So when we are in our own businesses, and say if we have team members or we have coworkers or we have clients or whoever it is, I coach a lot of one-person businesses and service-based businesses. So it's easy for us to see in the service-based business, sometimes it's just us. And it's like, okay, I got to really care about myself, but I got to care tremendously about my clients. And not only my clients, but I got to care about their mission. And if you can lock into this, I believe we can create culture, which culture is a word that gets thrown around a lot. But I think what really is culture, aside from the components of the people and the mission of the people working together and sharing those similar values. Values is something that we do a lot in my class. We work on a lot in my class. And additionally, we want to be able to have the same similar goals, values, purpose. When we can combine all of these things and we truly care about other people, I believe it becomes so much easier to create a healthy culture. And when we're in an environment that we genuinely enjoy, it gets us excited. We care about each other. We have a similar mission. I think doing the hard work becomes easy, right? It comes camaraderie. I think it's not usually the tasks that stop people from doing what it is they want to be doing versus sometimes you just don't want to butt heads with people. Think about so many people who don't go to even to the grocery store because they just don't want to be seen or they don't want to talk to people. And I think a lot of that has to do with culture. And I think that's carrying in the wrong direction. So we want to be careful of this. And so I really liked his first off leadership description and how it was so much love and caring for other people. And then also additionally having all these people have the same mission, all caring. So caring for each other, caring for the mission, leadership number one. Let's go on to number 2. Only compete with yourself. Compete with you. So if I had any vices or there was this interview, I'll kind of pull it up here to the side now because this was Pat PBD podcast. That thing's absolutely blown up in the last couple of years. I really like it. Granted, the only things I would say about that I didn't like from Pat David was he was trying to pull so hard on like who were Tom's enemies and this and that. And I think Tom answered all these questions beautifully with how he really tried to just compete with himself. And he didn't try to compete and control other people and what they were doing because this shit doesn't work. Like you can't control other people and doing what they're doing and still work on yourself, still be happy, still keep making progress and doing all these things. So that's why it comes in at number 2. If we get this principle right, I think it can reduce so much suffering. Is we just compete with you, only you. I want you to compete with yourself. You compete with the older version of yourself. Are you getting better today? This is something we want to piggy bank this morning and make sure that we lock and load it in. Is we are competing with ourselves, not with other people. Tom Brady, and so even in high school, he was like 4th, or he said his like freshman year in high school, he was like a backup to a quarterback on a team that went 0-8 and they like totally sucked. And then he was a backup. He was like 7th on the depth chart when he was first getting into Michigan. And then he was a backup when he came into the Patriots. And he had this philosophy of just, he's like, I can't control these other people and there's nothing I can do, but I can work on myself. I can get better. I can continue to improve these fundamentals. I can get help and support. And that's going to get us into point number 3. So we want to only compete with ourselves. We got to stop comparing ourselves to other people because the gap of their life and their situation compared to where we are today causes a ton of suffering. I've done this a lot in my own journey, and we're probably going to do it some more. But if we can really reduce it, I believe we can really reduce our suffering and feel better and be happier. Okay, next up is find people who hold you accountable to results. So be coachable. So that's the second half of it. Be coachable. We want to be able to this is one of the greatest strengths any human can ever possess is be coachable. So we want to be able to reach out to people we know. It could be family members. It could be friends. It could be your spouse. It could even be your kids. It could be your parents. It could be your coworkers. It could be your clients. It could be so many things where we're getting constant feedback to what it is that we're doing. We're getting constant feedback on how we can improve. And if you are not coachable, nobody's going to want to coach you. It turns out if I try to improve one thing about you and then you're snappy and you're defensive and you're being a total asshole, it's like, yeah, I'm probably not going to try and help anymore. This happens all the time. And this is something I'm personally working on. So for example, last night over dinner, I'm talking with my girlfriend and she's giving me some nice, healthy feedback on one of my morning show episodes. And I'm like kind of snarky a little bit, and I'm a little defensive. And it's like, dude, she's just trying to help you. And you're trying to, and I was like missing the point. And then I think so often, I say this because I do this too, but again, our goal is to reduce it. So often we just want to validate ourselves and we want to just sound smart and we want to sound clever that we totally miss out on this massive opportunity of being coached and being able to improve ourselves at an incredible rate. And this is what drives success. This is where we need to have people who hold us accountable to results. So I highly recommend taking it a level further than just like your friends and your family. This is not a bad starting ground, but really, I have a life coach. I have a business coach. I have multiple mentors. Like, we need people in our lives that hold us accountable to the results, because the results are ultimately what's going to change and give us the best, just real things to measure and manage in order to make strategic change. Because if you do the same thing and you expect different results, that's the definition of insanity. And I do believe everyone's insane in their own little way, but if we want to guarantee our success and we want to have happier, more fulfilling lives, we got to get that support and we got to be coachable. So today, when you screw up, because you're bound to do it, I'm bound to screw up. So today, when I screw up, I am going to not beat myself up. I'm going to try and think, what would my mentor say about this? How can I present this to my coaches? What can I do to be better? And less judgment, less pain on myself, and just be open, vulnerable, and okay with the fact that people are trying to help us and support us. And if you don't have these people in your corner, definitely got to get some coaches in your corner. I mean, look at anyone who's done anything great. Did they have coaches? Did they have accountability? Did they have support? I'm willing to say they probably did, yes. So be coachable comes in at number 3. I want to be held accountable to those results. Next up is number 4. This one I liked quite a bit. So not letting other selfish people drain your energy and headspace. This one's bad. This one happens all the time. We'll be going and going and going with our day, and some butthole says something, and whoosh, there goes your energy, all gone, drained out, given up out into the space. And it's because, well, they said this and they did this, and it's like, damn, this happens all the time. And I think we all have to deal with people like this on a certain level. So this was a great principle by Tom, and something that I really like is not letting these selfish people drain your own energy and headspace. Don't let them have the power. Don't let them have the power. Who has the power here? Are they taking it away? Is someone letting you do this? So, for example, with Tom over here, let's get a nice, handsome, healthy shot of this guy. So, Tom over here, there was a lot of critics, and there was a lot of people saying, you're bad at this. You're not athletic enough. You don't know what you're doing. All this and that, all this negative energy coming at him, but he continued to just compete with himself. He continued to just find the people who he could trust. You might not be able to trust your friends and family. You might not be able to trust your coworkers or your bosses to hold you accountable. You might have to go outside the box to find somebody who's really going to do this for you. Just like he traveled across the country to find good football coaches that could take him to the next level. You might have to go out of your way to find these people. You can't just talk to your brother and sister about all this shit all the time. So he went and found the right people to help him, support him as he was working with other buttholes and people who were trying to bring him down along the way. So this is the good balance of it. I deal with negative people. I make a lot of sales calls. A lot of people tell me to screw off, and they're like, oh, that's garbage. I don't want you to be my coach, yada, yada. And then I go and talk to my coaches, positive influences. I go talk to my mentors, positive influences. And then I feel good and I feel better. I think we all need support in our own ways. It's just, it takes effort, and we got to put ourselves out there, and we got to find the right people to allow us to do this. So be very careful of this when we're going through today. We can't give the other people the power. We have to keep the power. The power is ours as long as we keep it. So cars on a highway, the negative energy comes in, whoosh, see you later. We're letting it go. We're not letting that stuff steal away all of our precious time. It drives me nuts that it's just too bad that this happens all the time. But is it going to happen? Yes. Is it going to happen again? Yes. But how long will you be mad? How long will I be mad? That's the question I'm asking myself, and I hope you can do the same. Next up, we have intrinsic motivation versus external motivation. And again, in the interview that I have pulled up, I guess I'll pull this back up. So PBD, he's like big motivate. This guy's just so like driven, and you got to appreciate that about him. And that's why he's super successful. And I would love to meet PBD someday. That'd be really cool. But either way, it's like a lot of this external motivation, and I'm not a big fan of external motivation. And I think I really like Tom's answers on these, alluding back to some of our other ones, is not letting those negative people get in your headspace. But for this one, intrinsic motivation seems like the only real motivation there actually is. Like, this stuff can last a lifetime. So we're going to get on to here. Go ahead and eat another piece of chalk. Good morning to everyone. So intrinsic versus external. And this is under the category of motivation. So I think intrinsic motivation is the only real motivation that we can possess. Do you want to do it? Do you want to be better? Do you want to start a business? Do you want to lose weight? Do you want to get jacked? Do you want to eat good food? Do you want to help people? Do you want to make a real impact? These are the good questions we need to ask ourselves. And I believe this needs to be intrinsic. If you need help figuring out what means the most to you internally, I have a class that it's the deepest dive you'll ever do on yourself in your life, called the One-Page Life Plan. But making sure that we have that intrinsic motivation, because external, this stuff dies hard. This burns out. The flame gives out eventually once the wind comes in. And external motivation, I believe, is not only not long lasting, but I put down in the section here on the banner, you can see, is I think it dies really hard. Like, if we're so driven by other people, I think we tend to embody what other people think. I think we start to take on the weight, and we're focusing so much on the gap of, oh, my enemy's doing this and they're getting all this done. And we're just like comparing ourselves to like this huge gap. And I think there's a ton of negative emotion that actually fills in. And people get so stressed and so built up, especially in business. Like, we're trying to make money, we're trying to grow the company, we're trying to improve ourselves, we're trying to give everyone more opportunities. I get it. And the chase of that and comparing ourselves to the external environment, I think the vacuum always fills. And what it fills with, I believe, is like a lot of negative stuff that dies really hard. So I'm trying to aim for intrinsic motivation. I am internally motivated. I want to do this because I read books, not because so I can go talk to people about how I read a stack of books, but because I genuinely love to read. I write these blog posts not because I want somebody to read them and think I'm a good writer, but because I enjoy reading. I enjoy writing, So when we're looking through our task today, making sure that we're intrinsically motivated, these are the things that we want to do. These are the ways that we can improve and that would support and benefit our own lives and the people we love and care about most, and not being so focused on this external crap, because it is good for lighting the fire, but I think the flame dies out, and I think it just can be very stress-induced and very intense. And I don't think that's what I don't want. I know I can't speak for other people, but I know personally I do not want that type of pressure. I do not want to live in that gap of where other people are at compared to where I am. There's no one's you. Like, you are unique in your own ways. And comparing yourself, coming back to one of Tom's, the second principle that I really liked is just comparing yourself to you. So these were my top lessons that I got from listening to Tom Brady's interview yesterday. I thought it was absolutely stellar. I left the link for it in the link below, but man, just being so disciplined for so long, it just works every time. Like, yeah, you might not be Tom Brady with 7 Super Bowls, but do you even want to be Tom Brady? I know I don't. He has his own life. I have my own life. And I truly believe that I'm going to have so much happiness and fulfillment just by staying disciplined, knowing what it is I need to do today, being excited and intrinsically motivated, like we were able to put down, being intrinsically motivated about the things and opportunities I get to do. And that excites me. And I believe if I just do it long enough and I have good leadership, competing with myself, I'm finding people to hold me accountable. I'm coachable. Like, I'll admit there's things in coaching I'm not the best at. There's things in marketing. There's things in social media content, whatever, I'm not the best at. Don't give a shit. And I'm going to talk to people who are smarter than me, and they're going to coach me up and help me get better. And I'm humble enough to say that, and I'm cool with that. And I hope you are as well. Let's be coachable. Not letting these selfish people steal your energy and headspace. Screw them. I don't care if you're related to them, if you work with them, whoever. They don't get to steal your headspace no more. Come and go. Let it go. And it's going to take practice. It's going to sometimes, it might settle for 5 minutes today and hopefully 3 minutes tomorrow. Our goal is just to continue to diminish the time that we're letting other people take our headspace and our energy. And of course, we talked about how I want to be intrinsically motivated, man. I want to enjoy this stuff. I think it's fun. It's cool. These were some great 5 principles from Tom Brady. And if you're sticking around with us even until the end, we had a little bonus here. Something that he mentions in the interview. You cannot control the outcome, but you can control the process. You can control what you do today. You can control the actions that you have. You can control the foods you eat. You can control how many workouts you get in. You can control how many calls you make for your business. You can control how much content you make. You can control the process, but you cannot control the outcome. So if we can find peace and be excited about the effort that we put in and understand that long-term discipline is success in itself, then we just trust the outcome and we let it fall as it may. Because when you look back at anything, was it the result that made you happy, or was it the effort from the process? Good question. That's all I had for today. Thanks, Tom. Really appreciate you. You're one of the coolest dudes ever. And yeah, who knows? Maybe someday I'll be able to meet him at like a business conference or something. That'd be sick. But these were 5 principles to live by from Tom Brady, episode 362. And if you're still sticking around here with us this morning, please make sure to share this video if you know someone who you think could benefit from hearing it. It means the world to me. And that's all I got. So share the video with somebody if you think they could benefit. And yeah, I will be back here live Friday morning. Sorry, I work a little bit every day, so my days of the week are all jacked up. But either way, Friday morning, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time with episode 363 of the Talk Tanner Morning Show coming right up. Enjoy. Have a good one, guys. And I'll see you guys all on Friday. Have a great Thursday. In case you need to hear it, I love you. You're a badass. You got this. Let's live by these principles and be better people today. Let's have some fun. Thanks. Peace.